Hi everyone, Beth Derrick here with Live Good, Live Well. I started talking last week about how I believe that everything we do contributes to or detracts from our states of health and wealth. Today, bubbling around in my head is something that I want to verbalize that I've been thinking about for a while now and really want to start kind of putting out there and creating content on and in video form and blogs and podcasts and things like that. So that idea is everything we do revolves around or has an impact on a human. And I think I've talked about this a little bit, but I want that to be the topic of this video today. And I think about that in the way that cars are designed, in the way that roads and infrastructure are designed, in the things that we wear. T-shirts are designed for a human. We get pets to make ourselves or other people feel better. We go to work with others, to earn money, to buy things, to interact with people with, to impress people with, to not impress people with, to do something for ourselves. Large corporations that we've never heard of, whether they're government contractors or medical providers or science labs, it's all for humans. Even if we're studying something that's not a human or creating something that is not a human. So let's say the oil and gas industry, that's so that either products can be made from that petroleum and that crude oil, or gasoline can be made, motor oil, pharmaceuticals, plastics, you name it. And that's also so humans can use that. Jewelry is designed by a human for a human. AI, computers, they're all designed for humans to use them. Big data is used to study humans or study something else so we can understand something better. So humans are really involved in everything. And so if you take that down to your own level, where when people say things like, I don't care what other people think about me, or I don't care about what I wear, I have a visceral reaction to that, because of course you do. And it's people that are usually not dressed well, or they're dressed in like a ratty t-shirt or sweatpants, or they haven't changed their clothes in 3 days. They're making a conscious decision to not change their clothes for 3 days or to wear dirty clothes. They still care because they're making a decision to do so. It's just they're not putting the effort forth to put on clean clothes, right? And so for whatever reason, they don't want to be seen as clean and tidy, and they want to be seen as this other shell, whatever that might be. When we talk, when we communicate, we're communicating for the sake of someone else. Sometimes we talk to ourselves, but most of the time when we communicate, when we write, when we talk, when we sing, that is so somebody else can receive that. And so think about that when you're listening to someone. They're talking for the benefit of the listeners to hear. And so when your cell phone breaks up and the person talking, hey goody, it can't be heard because of static or it cuts out or something. Mm-hmm. Baby's got a little gas. Sometimes there's frustration because, that is frustrating for people to repeat themselves. But at the same time, of course repeat yourself, and repeat yourself in the same tone, because if the person didn't hear you, that's not their fault or your fault, it just is. And, communication is a fascinating thing. And often this is the base of problems, whether in work relationships or personal relationships, romantic relationships, friendships, whatever the case is. If you see my Sully right here, we communicate all the time. He comes over to say hello, and we're pretty in tune with what they need. They don't have words, but they definitely communicate with us. Same thing with Zephyr, that's asleep right here beside my desk. We communicate all the time. And that's a definitely a bilateral avenue there. When you're driving, there's this like defensive driving and offensive driving. But why can't it just be mindful and kind and considerate driving? Why does it have to be aggressive on either side? We're not playing a sport. We don't have a ball. Like, these are very expensive and very powerful moving machines. Okay. And just let the person over in front of you. What's it going to cost you? 1/10 of a second, maybe. It'll make you feel a lot better if you just let someone over instead of getting upset or getting mad or honking your horn. Like, just slow down, let them over. It'll make their day better and yours. If you're standing in line, same thing. It's totally cool, especially when somebody appears to be in a hurry. We have no idea what they're in a hurry about. We have no idea if they're about to shit their pants because they've got, a situation happening, or if they're just having a bad day because they got in a fight this morning, or they're just, they're just jerks and they're inconsiderate of other people. But it makes us feel a lot better if we're considerate no matter what. It takes the judgment out of it. So anyway, I just wanted to do a quick video on that topic and kind of that around that idea and that belief of, there's a human at either at the direct forefront or the indirect kind of the background of everything that's ever done, every decision, every idea, every project, everything that's created, etc. It's either for a human, by a human, or for a larger collective. So think about that. Think about how that falls into your daily life and kind of the world. Like, how does society look differently with kind of through that lens? And maybe it's something that everybody already thinks about, but it's something that nobody talks about for sure. People think that being selfish is a bad thing, and I think, having an ego is a bad thing. I think those things are just more tools. And when we put ourselves first in a loving way, then we're able to take care of and care for other people in very loving ways. If we're putting ourselves first selfishly, then that is just the same as, it's just not a good thing. Sometimes you got to take time for yourself, but you can't pour from an empty cup. So, something to noodle on. Anyway, this is Beth with Live Good, Live Well, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Cheers.